And another peace deal. Yeah, it's in the offing. President Trump teased on Truth Social that progress is being made between Russia and Ukraine. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff returning to the United States today after meeting with the Ukrainians in Geneva to try to iron out a peace deal.
I would like to get the peace. It should have happened a long time ago. The Ukraine war with Russia should have never happened. If I were president, it never would have happened. We're trying to get it ended. One way or the other, we have to get it ended.
This is the only thing that makes sense. Unless, of course, and it's a big unless, Congress is going to go to the American people and say, look, we need to raise taxes to continue to fund this war. We spent about $185 billion on Ukraine over the last 3 years. That includes $20 billion in loans, $128 billion that directly aids the Ukrainian government. We've been paying for pensions and salaries. We can't do this anymore. And those who think that we should keep going or be in it for the long haul need to explain how this stalemate is actually going to end. Ukrainians don't seem to even want to fight this war anymore, with one soldier telling the Telegraph that out of the 1,000 fellow military recruits in his training camp, he's the only one there willingly. So Ukraine is just struggling to keep people on the front lines. And he says one of the recruits are, right now, they're either older men or unhealthy men. Here to discuss this, Victor Davis Hanson, Senior Fellow at the Hoover Institution. Victor, from the beginning, Donald Trump was the only realist who was willing to say what needed to be said, that this war was a mistake, wouldn't have happened under his watch, and that it had to end. Because as long as China is going to fund this by buying ag and oil from Russia, I don't see how this is going to stop.
Yeah, he was the only one, Laura, that also talked about the human cost. Almost every week he said this was a human tragedy, that all these people were being killed for no reason. And I think everybody knew what the parameters of a peace deal were, that Ukraine was never going to be in NATO, and they didn't have the military wherewithal to get back the Crimea and all of the Donbass. So the only questions were, where would the DMZ be, the demilitarized zone, and what kind of security guarantees would it have? And Europe is now much stronger because of the new NATO that Trump forced them to really to recalibrate. Almost all of them, except 4 or 5, make their 2% contributions of GDP. They've got Finland, Sweden, and they can give them a guarantee. We can offer some logistical support. But otherwise, Ukraine is running out of people, and Russia is running out of money. And so there is going to be a settlement. And the only question now is, how far west does Putin think he has to go before he goes back to the Kremlin and say, I lost 1.5 million dead Russians, wounded, missing, and this is what I got, and it's not very much. So I think that they're just going to squabble about where the ceasefire line is, but I think this time Trump is going to get a peace deal, and he's the only person who's talked about this war in humanitarian terms.
Victor, I want to go back to something we talked about last segment about this idea that Trump is, quote, losing his influence in the Republican Party. That's kind of the wish casting going into the midterms. And you see this time and again in the press. Your reaction to that new line they're peddling?
You know, they said that for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months after January 6th. He was all through. He was all washed up. And then they didn't even have a serious primary. No one even got near him. And the main candidates withdrew very quickly. It's the same thing. And they can't decide whether they want to run against Trump or that he's not going to be there. But whatever it is, he dominates the party. He's like a colossus that just strides over the party and the country. And they know that. And they've tried everything, Laura. They've tried to raid his house. They deballoted him. They had 5 lawfare cases, 91 charges, indictments, and he's kind of anything that doesn't destroy him makes him stronger. And so he's going to have a booming economy next spring when all this foreign investment, this more energy development, more tax reduction, deregulation, it's going to be a good year. And I think everybody knows it. And I think the left, they're reduced to nothing. And they're cutting these videos that are calling for military insubordination and it's violating a lot of the elements of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, Article 88, Article 90, Article 92. And they're so desperate, but there's no defection. I think he's stronger than he ever was.
I mean, yeah. I mean, people are going to be writing history books, like volumes and volumes and volumes of the next decades. 100 years from now, they're going to look back on this era and say, this was the most consequential era, probably the last 60, 70 years. No doubt about it. Victor, thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.